you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to start our program. We are requesting that those that are outside, if they could kindly come in so that we can start. I think we also agree that there is a lot of work ahead of us today. So we don't need to lose any inch of the time that we have. We need to start and use our time very productively today. We also requesting that those that are coming inside, if they can please or could please occupy the seats that are right at the front, because we have a lot of spaces that are in the front. And I see also there are people from marketing who are taking the video for us. You know, normally the video comes out very nice if you have people that are sitting in the front than in the back. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to take this opportunity to greet all of you, the members of the senior management that are here, the IMT members, EMT members, as well as the colleagues at large. I hope you had a very great sleep yesterday. If, in fact, though all of us slept, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, so I'm sure we are good. Colleagues, I think we are having a very great conference. I think we all agree that yesterday there was quite a lot of engagement and presentations really that were very fruitful, that were very insightful, that were really giving us information of the things and the developments within our sector as a TVET college. And that's the information that we all need to ensure that we prepare ourselves going forward. I want us to start this session, colleagues, by reflecting a little bit on the presentations that were made here yesterday. We started with the presentation from the college principal. And one of the things that the college principal said to us yesterday was that people who are driving curriculum are the lecturers. For me, I believe that was a very, very, very important assertion, because these changes that we are talking about in the sector, they will not be possible without a stakeholder like a lecturer. So the department can speak about these changes where they are. Management can speak about these changes where they are. But actually where the metal meets the meat is at the campus. So for me, I think that was a very profound statement by the college principal. She went on to say, we are a vocational institution. I think Mr. Ntuli, when he was also presenting, he made this assertion. to say within the word TVET college, there is VET, which says that we are a vocational institution. The question is are we living to our identity as the sector? And in this regard, specifically, as a Langeni TVET college, are we treating ourselves as a vocational institution? This then, colleagues, talks to the issue of the workshops. So in other words, when we start talking vocational education, we are talking about the workshops. Are our workshops speaking to our identity as a TVET college? It speaks about our instructor or instructors or lecturers. Are the lecturers that we're having speaking to our identity as a vocational institution? He went on and said that winds of change are blowing. It's either you adapt or you perish. So, colleagues, I think for me that simply said that we need to probably look at ourselves, have an introspection to say, are we ready for these changes? And how are we aligning ourselves accordingly with all these changes that are happening within our sector? And then we had Mr. Charles Pule from QCTO. He was talking about the two sub-frameworks, which is the NQF sub-framework, which is now replaced by the Occupational Qualification sub-framework, which is a new sub-framework now that is speaking directly to us as a TVET college. Remember when he was speaking about the NQF, he said that Abahloli, they had a problem with understanding what do we do. You know, they will have a problem when they come to campuses and find students not wearing a uniform. And that was profound for me because our learners must be wearing PPEs, not uniforms. He went on and touched on the occupational qualification and its requirements to say for an occupational program or for us as a college offering occupational programs, there are three components that are important. One is the knowledge component, which is the knowledge modules. That's where you will be offering your theoretical training, but also the practical modules before then the learners are taken into the workplace. So those are three critical components, of which the two are within us. So he says there is knowledge modules, but again, there is practical modules. Again, it goes back to what I said earlier, that the principal and Mr. Ntulu were saying, that we are a vocational institution. It means that we need to ensure, colleagues, that our workshops are up to standard. I'm not sure if currently we're having workshops that we should be working, that we should be having, that are speaking to this identity that I'm talking about. I'm lucky because I've done accreditation at the institution and I've seen, few of these workshops. I don't know if Mr. Dlamini from Mpumalanga is here. So this then says that it challenges us to ensure that our workshops are what we are. What Abega, Mr. Shandu, I'm not sure if you're here. Again, it says when we live in here, let's go back to those workshops and make sure that they are what they are. She's also a world skills expert. And other campuses as well. There are so many colleagues that I've engaged with as I was dealing with the issues of the workshop accreditation. So these occupational qualifications, they want us to look at accreditation as Mr. Pule was saying yesterday. So in other words, our workshop, they must be at the level in which they should be. We should be having instructors that are registered with quite a number of bodies, like your sitters, NAMP, and so on, as assessors and as both moderators We need to be having the learning material and systems and policies in place. So based on what Mr. Pule was saying yesterday, as an institution to be ready to offer these occupational programs, we need to ensure that these things that I'm talking about, we've taken care of. And then we had Mr. Vele from DHEAD, of which he had a snapshot of our current situation as an institution to say, in terms of the QCTO accredited programs, how well are we doing there? And he painted not a very good picture. So there's a lot of work that still needs to be done to ensure that we get rid of this occupational program and we get QCTO accreditation. I want to say, colleagues, not that we are not accredited with various sitters, but now we need to ensure that these accreditations, they now move and become QCTO accreditation. He also shared with us the employment sectors that has got opportunities for our learners. And he advised that we need to reshape our PQM so that it speaks to these sectors, economic sectors, that has got these opportunities. We also had Mr. Mafumba, who spoke to us about the centers of excellence, and he also shared the best practices in that regard. We also had Mr. Hugo, who simply said that it's Tina that will make things happen for this institution. So for me, colleagues, I think then that was important for us to touch on before we move into today's program. And today's program mainly is on commission, colleagues. We have various commissions that we have. In total, we have 6. And this is how we are going to move forward, colleagues, as we move to this commission this morning. We have Commission 1, that is chaired by Ubaba Umashinini. I think we all know Ubaba Mashinini, campus manager wasenanda. Mhlamba ngimcela sukume nje khona nizombona Baba Mashinini. Ngicela usukume bakubona bangakwazi. So that is Mr. Mashinini. So if you are yes, if you yeah. No, we really understand, Mr. Mashinini. You must not get worried. Mr. Mashinini's commission will be in breakaway room 1, colleagues. These rooms are named as you come out in the passage here. Mr. Mashinini will be in breakaway room 1. And then we also have commission number 2 that is chaired by Mr. Chiluvane, who's the HOD at Ntuzuma. Babu Chiluvane, sicela ukubona la ukhona. There is Mr. Chiluvane. Then his commission will be in breakaway room number 2. Then we also have commission 3, which is chaired by Mr. Ketuktula Mbelu. Mr. Mbelu, can we see you where you are? There is Mr. Mbelu. Mr. Mbelu's commission is in breakaway room number 3. As I said, these rooms are all in the passage. Then we have commission number 4, chaired by Mrs. Duki, the Pinetown campus manager. Mrs. Duki, there is Mrs. Duki. Mrs. Duki's commission will be in breakaway room 4. And then we have commission number 5 that will be chaired by Spesi Ngobo. Ms. Ngobo, HOD at Mpumalanga. There is Ms. Ngobo. Ms. Ngobo's commission will remain here in the hall, but they will be using that section of the hall which is at the back, around that sign written exit. We have the last commission that will be chaired by Ms. Tandiwe Mashabane. Ms. Mashabane, can we see you where you are? There is Mrs. Mashabane. Mrs. Mashabane's commission will also be here at the hall, but they will be using that side, Mrs. Mashabane, which is at my far left of the hall. I wish also then, colleagues, to indicate to you that there was a list that was shared with the commission chairs and with the campus managers That list is the handbook for the conference. It has got numbers into it to say which commission you are belonging to. So if you are belonging to Commission 1, next to your name, it will be written number 1. If you are belonging to Commission 2, 3, and so on, next to your name, that is how you'll know which commission you have to go to. If you're not sure, as I said, please consult your campus manager. He or she's got a list. She will assist you where you need to go. A few also other things, colleagues, that I wish to take you through before you go. From 9 until 11:45, please note this. This is the time that you have to engage in your commissions. So in other words, at 12 o'clock, we are expecting you to be back in the hall so that we can have then feedback session from your commissions. You will have to come to the plenary so that you do your presentation. That's that. Another thing that I wish to share with you before we depart, you are expected to check out at 10 o'clock, colleagues. If you haven't checked out yet, please ensure that at 10 o'clock you do check out. We will also be having tea during this time. Use this time as well if you haven't checked out to check out. Lunch will be served at 1:45. So in other words, we will have our session in the hall. We will stop with the feedback and then we'll go to lunch and come back to continue. And the afternoon tea will be at 3:30. So those are the logistics for this morning's session, colleagues. So I will ask then that the teams that are chairs of the commission lead the commission members into these venues that I've mentioned. Thank you. Miss Ngobo? Not yet. So can colleagues, can I get, is here? Is here, okay. Now thanks, Mr. Mkiza, for that clarity. Colleagues, we will give about 3 minutes for everyone to come in circly so that we can then proceed.
No, it's fine.
Colleagues, can we settle down? What is evident is that the changes are here. And it's important that we find a way not to fight the change. Normally, when there is change, there is fear, which leads to the resistance of the change. But in most cases, the fear comes as a result of the unknown. What this program has been able to do, or has attempted to do, was to try and close the gap in terms of the type of animal that we are looking at. You would have not been concentrating, especially from day one, if you don't know where we are going now. Hence, it was important that all these presentations that we had were engaged, so that you don't find answers in the wrong places. And I think that is the reason why we had to come, all of us, and suspend all other things so that we are in one room and we discuss these things. I think that is important. I don't think that this change is bad. I think that what is important out of the resolutions that have come is how we mitigate the risks associated with such a change. What I'm here to do is to facilitate the resolutions. The understanding is that in the various commissions, we have engaged thoroughly. Though when I moved around, sometimes I could see that there was not enough engagement. Maybe it's exposure, maybe it's something else. But the understanding is that when you are in a commission, you would have expressed yourself fully. And that the resolutions from that commission would express your views in terms of the changes that are ahead of us. This change is not something new. We have experienced various changes in the sector. Those who are 22 years like myself would know in the sector. I'm not revealing my age, but I'm saying some of us who started back then, when it was the Department of Basic Education and so forth, would have been exposed to some of the changes, especially in terms of when the curriculum changes, because there is no way that that cannot affect us in one way or the other. But it is how we respond to it that will then ensure that the college, that is almost 22 years old as a college, because remember in 2002, this became Sivananda FET College, which was a merger between Pinetown, which was then Pine Tech, into Zuma Technical College, as well as Wamashu, which was Sivananda. They merged and they formed Sivananda FET College. So from that time, while the three institutions had been in existence for a number of years, from that time to now, we are looking at about 22 years. And the institution has survived and is growing. It's achieving what it needs to achieve. We have received a number of good news in the institution. So what is key when we deal with the resolution is that we must be realistic when we talk of the resolutions. The resolutions must take into account the physical resources, the human resources, as well as the financial resources. We can't just shoot from the hip. Whatever that we end up resolving as an action today must be something that is realistic and achievable. We can't just be personal about it and sponsor a resolution that seeks to address personal issues and not the institutional issues. What is important is that at the end of this whole process, the institution must remain. So I'm saying that we need not to be personal, as much as it may be difficult sometimes to divorce a person from a process, but we must try and find a way to ensure that we're not personal. And then we come up with the resolutions. Those resolutions, some will attend in a short term, medium term, and long term, because we may not be in a position to attend to all issues at once. So that is the background that one wanted to make. I will then call on the chairpersons, who will then report in terms of the resolutions that each commission has come up with. My understanding is that the chairperson will come here and give a high-level response in terms of what the commission has deliberated on and indicate to us what is it that they have agreed on as resolutions from that commission. We'll then marry these ones and arrive at a number of resolutions. That will be a mandate, especially to management, to say, management, this is what you now need to look at and take forward for this change to be implemented in the way that it's supposed to be implemented. When the resolutions have come, I'll then give an opportunity after each chairperson has engaged or has given us feedback, 1 or 2 hands to come and give additions where there are additions and so forth, so that we can then craft resolutions. I have assisting Ushaviga there, is assisting me in terms of crafting these resolutions, but the chairpersons would have had the documentation from their groups, which will also assist in terms of closing the gap. Thank you very much. I want to call in no order. This is just, I would want Commission 1 come first, Commission 2 would then follow, Commission 3 would then follow, Commission 5 would then follow, and then Commission 6 would then follow. In that order, colleagues. In that order. I will remind you. Eh? No, you're not listening. No, you're not listening. Yeah, Commission 4, I said it's number 1. No, I do have my notes. I said in no order, and I said Commission 4 will come. And yes, I then said, no, listen carefully. Tina. I know why Mr. Machine is here, is because he knows that it's Commission 1. I didn't say we'll start with Commission 1. No. Okay, this is the order, colleagues. Commission 4 would be number 1. Commission 2 will be number 2. Commission 3 will be number 3. Commission 5 will be number 4. Commission 6 will be number 5. And Commission 1 would be number 6. Can we do that, colleagues? I don't want to cause confusion. Thank you very much. Mrs. Duki? Yeah? You're not? Okay, from the chairpersons, can you show me with a show of hands if your commission is not done with the reconciliation? So it means that only Commission 4 is, your hand is up, that is Commission? Okay, 4 and 3 is not done. Then Commission 2 can come. Mr. Chiluvane. I will allocate 10 minutes for the reporting to each chairperson, and then That will be the order that will then follow. Thanks.
Where's the wine?
It's coming.
What's happened?
No, I can use it. Right, you're good.
Good day, colleagues. I'm representing Commission 2 on contextualizing leading TVET curriculum change. And we said, how can we prepare our management for this change? So we come up with a lot of intervention, although the time was not on our side. The first intervention was communicating the need to end the irrelevant programs. As we sit here today, our management have achieved that intervention because they are communicating the change that is happening to our sector now. So, for these interventions, we look at the responsible persons or responsible departments. It was through staff meetings, students, college, social platforms, and Instagram. That will be the way of communicating to our learners the ending irrelevant program in our sector. And the department that is responsible is college management. And the major outputs will be new program. And the time frame by the end of 2024, because it's fall under a short term. And the next one was to provide training programs to capacitate the staff of a Langen. The resources is funding or budget, and the responsible department will be HR. And the outputs will be building knowledge and skill to lead the curriculum change, which is an ongoing process, as Mr. Ntuli enlightened yesterday, that to be a qualified artisan, you need to have trade test, facilitation, assessor, and moderation, which form part of the short courses. And the third one was needs assessments. Need assessments will require projects and engagement of the stakeholders. And the department that is responsible is finance, curriculum, and research units. And the outputs will be industry partnership. Because whatever that we do in our assessment must be in line with the industries. So in terms of the time frame will be ongoing. And the other one will be stakeholders. Engaging of stakeholders, which require a budget, conferences, workshops, and policy makers. And the units that is responsible is academic board and curriculum units. The output is to gather inputs and feedback on the current curriculum and desired change. Curriculum review. Since we are going occupational, we have met with the industries, so we have to review our curriculum to be in line with the global markets and industries. So to do this, we need the projects from finance units, Mr. Mashabane, Nama Bilioni, and we need the commitment of his staff. And the responsible units, as I've said, is curriculum and finance, no HR units. The outputs will be to identify outdated content gap skills and training and opportunities for improvement. Time frame will be ongoing. Capacity building of staff and lecturers. So the resources that we need is budgets, attending workshop conferences, and service providers. The responsible units will be UHR, and the outputs will be to equip with the knowledge and skill necessary to lead the curriculum change effectively. Piloting programs. Resource that we need is budgets and human resource lab. Case. And the responsible units will be curriculum units and the commitment of the lecturers. The outputs will be teaching, methodologies, assessments, strategies, and selection of vocational training programs. And the other one will be policy alignment. And the resources will be e-budgets, and the units responsible will be academic board, research units, and curriculum to facilitate the approval and the implementation of the curriculum change. That will be the outputs. And the other one may be more practical education within the industry curriculum. There we have a responsible resources. It's infrastructure. We do have infrastructure, although it's not written there. Expand our workshop in terms of innovative material that we are using in our workshop. And the units that is responsible is business units, which is now, I think it's fall under Mr. Ntuli as occupational. I'm not sure, but we'll also speak to Mr. Ntuli. Occupational is also form part of the unit there. And the output will be signing off MOU with the industries. And the other one was the word of mouth. I think this point was raised by one of our lecturers at Kwamashu campus, since he teaches refrigeration. There's 3 of his students were employed by one of the companies that came to the college to service the air conditions, because he was engaging with those suppliers. So the responsible unit will be business units and marketing. And my output is engagement with the suppliers to hire students. So that's where our short-term goals. And for the long-term goals, we look at curriculum redesign, and the responsible resources that we will need will be e-projects and industry experts. And the responsible units will be finance, curriculum units, and lecturers. And our outputs will be alignment of curriculum and industries by the year of 2025, because it's fall under a long term. Integration of dual system, form partnership with industries. So the responsible units will be a placement officer together and UHR, although we didn't put UHR there. And our outcome will be to improve in employment of our students, because they'll be put in the specific companies to do their training. So maybe when the company sees that the students got a potential, maybe they are able to be hired. Other one will be quality assurance. Quality assurance, we look at the budgets, quality assurance like QCCO. And the responsible units will be quality, curriculum units, and finance. This will speak to recruiting or recurring in partnership with our industries and other stakeholders. Industry partnership, we looked at engagement and the budgets in terms of resources, because lecturers and students, they form part of this engagement under UWIL. So the research units, curriculum, and quality units are the responsible units for industry partnership. That will improve the employability of our students. Then we look at lifelong learning. Then we identify the resources that we need will be staff participation, labor, and e-budgets. And the responsible units will be HR, unions, and finance. Because why we improve the unions there, because we know that when it's time to change, there are some staffs who will resist change because of some reason, but those reasons will be the lack of information and the lack of resources. So that's why we put unions there, because if they go, Mr. Daba, and tell the unions that you are telling them to do what they don't want to do, yeah. Then upskilling lecturers and qualified lecturers. Then we look at the policy advocacy, which is the resources will be with the HEC policy, relevant legislation, skills development, and S&T strategies. And the responsible units will be corporate services and academic board. And the outcome will be compliance. Targeted throughput, learning materials, students and lecturers. Here we look at the unit that is responsible, which is TVET MIS. Then we look at the key risks that are related to the commission, which is the outcome is compliance and alignment curriculum to industries. And the risk will be non-compliance for students. And the mitigation factors will be commitments and thorough research. And the other one was competency. The risk will be unsatisfied students and lecturers. And the mitigation factors will be commitment. And the other one, the last one but not least, because I'm short, so my presentation will be short also. Student employment. We look at the risk of a pandemic, retrenchment, and economic inflection. And the mitigation factors will be binding, OMAU, and proper planning. So that's my presentation for the Commission 2. Thank you.
Wait.
Singapore?
Yeah, my son. You might check curriculum.
Yeah, nizolungisa phela.
No, thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause. There was one thing that caught my eye that may not be addressed to the chairperson, maybe to the group as a means of clarity. You are saying curriculum redesign. I'm not clear in terms of what is it that we are saying. If you can clarify that point for us, then I can then take maybe 2 inputs before we allow the next group to come and present. To that group, Babu Chiluvan. Anyone? There is a hand, I don't know. Is there a roving mic? Who can assist? Shavika? Who can assist with the roving mic? Is there a mic? Mrs. Mkhize.
Thank you, Chair. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. With regards to curriculum design, Chair, we meant that yesterday there were talks about lecturers designing the curriculum and communicating with the industry as well. So if we are saying curriculum redesign, we are saying the industry-based education, curriculum that talks to the needs of the industry. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Okay. Any other input into what has been presented? I note a hand at that side. I happen to know it's Mr. Zungu. Maybe when you are rising and I've forgotten who you are. By the way, I know all of you. You just indicate for the record that it's so and so, and then you can then come in. Mr. Zungu?
No, thank you very much, Chair. The first one is not necessarily a question, but in the presentation, there was a submission about communicating the need to end irrelevant programs. And I was a bit short in terms of who do we communicate it to and the reason behind communicating. I would have thought that maybe it can have some meat in terms of that this is who we are communicating to. Whether we are saying we are communicating the need to communities that campuses are surrounded by, we communicate it to staff, etc., and what is our intended outcome?
Can we not disturb?
And what is our intended outcome in terms of that? Maybe we can look into it in terms of the resolution. But secondly, I was interested in the industry partnerships, where we're talking about developing in partnerships with industry. But my concern was that we were placing it. I think there must be a correction. It's not BU. It's partnership and linkages. But this is where my submission is, that maybe as a college we need to look at how do we support that office of partnership and linkages in terms of partnerships with the industries that are relevant to the location, like if you are at Ntuzum, Ondwendwe, etc., who is there? Because I was just thinking about it, if it's one person in terms of the structure that is responsible for that, but this person is expected to have vast knowledge in terms of engineering field, in terms of hospitality, etc., that they may fall short in terms of that. Maybe we need to look at developing a structure that will look into it, in like maybe some form of a committee that will be chaired by that person coming from different college campuses, so that at least there is synergy in terms of how do you develop partnerships that will talk to each and every campus, wherever it is based. Thank you, Chair. I submit.
Thank you. There's one question apart from the recommendation of a committee that will look at the issues around partnerships, and that was asking in terms of the communication as to whom this communication is supposed to. That is just one. I'm not expecting a response now. Let us take another input so that when you come once. By the way, it's our discussion. All of us must then be able to clarify. Going? Go on. All right. Are you able to assist us, Commission? Commission 2? Mrs. Mkhize appears to be the spokesperson. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Chair. Apologies to the House for just typing communication. We ran out of time. But where we wrote communication, it was, for instance, with industry. We meant communication with the relevant people in the industry. For instance, the example that Mr. Chiluvani made with the lecturer that communicated with the supplier that was on the premises. We meant that communication, a lecturer speaking to the supplier, Triple S communicating with the industry. We meant that type of communication. But because of time, we just wrote the word so that the speaker would remember that we meant speaking to the person in the industry. Thank you, Chair.
No, thank you very much. It's clear. I think it puts the matter to rest. Commission 5, Ms. Noble. I can't work like this. I was told that the two commissions that are not ready is that of Mr. Mbelu and Mrs. Duki. And yeah, are you ready, ma'am? Please, if you are ready, I don't want to put you into a spot. Yeah.
Minute, a little bit. Skat. Good day. Good day, everyone. My name is Ms. Sipesihle Ngobo, HOD at Pumalanga campus. I'd like to greet our distinguished guest, Madam Principal, members of the senior management, IMT members, CMT, lecturers, IT department, and a marketing department. I'm from Commission number 5, and our topic reads, Rapid Changes Involving work Structure, Workforce Demographics, Reward System, Service Contracts, Information Technology, and the retention of core competencies have been impacted by technological, economical, and political developments. Preparing for a diverse workforce, work composition, and academic staff approach to how we begin to deliver a responsive curriculum in occupational and vocational training and education. Okay, after deliberations with the team, with regards to faculty training, when we speak of faculty training, yesterday we were told that in order for the college to have the QTCO programs to be accredited, we need lecturers to be facilitators, assessors, moderators, and they need to be registered with their current sitters according to their qualifications that they have. And then we also need to form partnership with industries so that you can be able to place learners for student placement. Then once we've got that, then we can able to apply for that certain program so that you can get the accreditation. So when we say that we need faculty training, we need us as lecturers to be developed. We need us to be sent to those short course programs where we do facilitation, assessors, and moderators so that the college can be able to be accredited into that certain program that we want to be enrolled in under QTCO. We said we're going to need budgets. The responsible department will be HRD so that at the end we can all be in line with the industry trends once we have completed our trainings. Then second one is the industry partnership and student placement. When we develop partnership with them, we are aiming that at the end we can be able to understand the needs of that industry. What is it that is currently in demand so that it can be in line with our curriculum as we develop the curriculum. And then we move to workforce demographic. We spoke of diversity training. By diversity training, we spoke of different types of trainings whereby we looked at the age of a person. By age of a person, I'll make an example that we cannot send a person for a training. Let's say you are about to retire, you are now at 62. we send you to a training of 3 years, then that means the college will invest to someone who by the time that person finishes, they'll have to retire. So we also looked at succession planning. Okay, when we looked at succession planning, we wanted to say that one person, rather let's train more just in case that person leaves the organization. The other one who's currently there, who was trained during this person, can be able to train someone else instead of coughing out more money to train more people all the time. Then we went to environmental scanning. We said that the research department or unit will need to scan the environment. In which ways? As right now, we are all qualified lecturers. So the research units will need to find, in terms of our qualifications, who has done the assessor training, who has done the moderation, who is currently registered with the CETA, who has a qualified trade test. So by that, we are going to be able to take those lecturers and align them with the current curriculum, depending on the QTSO program that has been identified by the college. Then for service contracts, we looked at the conditions of service. Currently, we have lecturers who are employed as being permanent and those that are in contracts. Those that are in contracts for 3 months, 6 months, or for a year. We train that person, and then that person, it's not guaranteed that, say, maybe next year that person doesn't come back. We've already invested on that person, so that person will now go with that skill to use it somewhere else. So we need to find ways of retaining our staff so that we do not train people who are going to leave at the end, who leave the Elangeli TVET College. Okay, then we spoke of colleagues, can you continue? I only have 2 minutes left. Okay, we spoke about enhanced learning platforms, where we are going to use different types of mode to enhance our learnings in class. Okay, then we said that we need curriculum units, IT, academic services. What is it that we're going to benefit if all of us enhance our method of teaching in class? We are going to get improved results because a lecturer will be using different methods in conducting his or her lesson. Then staff will be comfortable in using teaching platforms, and it is also going to reduce the cost of purchasing books. Yesterday, there was a gentleman who spoke about e-books. So if we are able we are all able to use internet, students are provided with gadgets, then we are going to be able to try and save cost. Instead of buying the hard copy of textbooks, we are going to be able to use e-books. Then under work demographics, we've got current skills evaluation. With current skills evaluation, we need to identify each and every lecturer as to what skills does each lecturer possesses, so that we can be able to use those skills to be in line with the programs that they are going to be identified by the college. Those skills are going to be able, that when we use them, we're able to get the training manuals. We're able to increase quality of teaching and learning, because with my skill, I can be able to share it with another lecturer. That way, if I share it with someone else, we are going to be increasing the quality of teaching and learning. So we are going to be needing budget, policy upgrade, and the responsible department, it's HRD, and the training committees. Long-term goals, we have curriculum development or material developers. Yesterday, we were told that us as lecturers, we can be able to develop the curriculum. So we are trying to look into that route so that we can be able to produce more graduates, because that yesterday they said that if you have your own curriculum, it's going to be easy to cascade that information from yourself to the student. So if it's easy for you as a lecturer, that means we'll be able to produce more graduates, lecturers will be appropriately qualified to deliver, and we will get accreditations. The second one, it's rewards and it's reward systems. We looked at incentive for industry experience. We are told that we are supposed to also go and do a wheel, or we place students for training. So we also need to look at the policies. We need to review the policies, because sometimes you find that you are placed in an industry where it's very far from where you are currently working, the campus that you are in. As I'm working at in Mpumalanga campus, say maybe I'm going to be placed maybe in Palito. There's an industry there with the skills that I acquire, so I'll have to go there and be placed there. We've had people that were complaining that they want the industry to buy them lunch. They want transport to go there. So we'd like to request that the policy be reviewed so that it can accommodate that shift or that change of environment from where you are currently based to where now you are going. And then again, flexibility of the college in terms of working hours. When you look at the industries, I'll take for an example, in my industry, we work very awkward hours. Sometimes you start at 6, you finish at 3, then there's a shift that starts at 2, that finishes at 11. Here, according to our contract, we start work from 8 o'clock up until 3. So we also need to look at that. If I go to a certain hotel and I'm told that I'm supposed to start at 2 to 11, those are things that we need to review in our policies so that we can be able to accommodate the staff, so that we can be able to get the skills that we want them to acquire when they go for industries. Then we also identify some of the key risks. We said when it comes to faculty training, one of the major risks that can take place is that they can be resistant to change. How can we overcome that? Is the capacity building, which is something that our principal has started. The reason why we're here is because the college doesn't want us, when the change comes, to resist to change. The only way that people cannot resist change is to make them to be part of the planning from the beginning, so that when the change comes, they will own that change because they were part of the change from the beginning. So no one can be able to resist. I've spoken about that. We've got contracted workers. So in order to mitigate that, we need to visit the contract of employers so that we can be able to train someone that we know that at the end of the day, we are going to be able to retain that person who has acquired the skill through means of being sent to the training by the college. Then lastly, we have enhanced learning platform. As we are saying that we want to use different modes of teaching in class, we need to bear in mind that there are people who are technophobia, born before technology, Mr. Shembe. So we need to be able to deal with those people who are born before technology through means of upskilling of its staff, by sending them to trainings, or by sharing of skills. Ms. Ngobo will go and sit with Mr. Shembe in his office and try to capacitate Mr. Shembe so that he can be able to use that mode of teaching that has been identified by the college. Thank you so much.
It's just an example, the issue of technophobia. Don't take it personal. I gotta show Mr. Shembe as such. No, thank you very much for that presentation. Is there any input from the floor? I see one hand. Where's the mic? Oh, there is a mic. Is there any other hand? I see the hand from the usual suspect at the back. Is there any other hand? Okay, from Mr. Kumete, then Mrs. Mkhize.
Thank you, Chairperson. I wish to focus on the workforce demographics based on the presentation that was done by Commission number 5. Firstly, Chairperson, I'll have a comment and then I'll ask a question. The South African Constitution, as well as the National Development Plan and transformation of the economy, make reference to equality, and some of the key measures is to ensure that there is gender transformation and equal participation. I wish to check from the Commission, firstly, if the Commission did deliberate on issues of, for instance, enrollment of young girls into critical skills such as information technology, other occupational program, whilst the college is moving towards the program, the occupational program of whilst the college moving towards the occupational program qualification mix. That's the first one, Chairperson. The second one, also I wish to check with the Commission if there was any deliberation in terms of workforce demographics again, with regard to the training and development of the current workforce, in particular females, into critical and skills programs that the college is envisaging to provide. Both questions are based on the fact that the Commission was supposed to also deliberate on the workforce demographics. You'll find that, for instance, Chairperson, I'm just making an example, I might not have facts, that, for instance, in Tuzuma, the demographics of males and females in those critical programs are not tallying, are not 50-50. So I wish that the Commission will provide insight if there was any deliberation in that regard. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Mkhize.
Thank you, Chair. It is a request to the management. This request is sparked by the two commissioned that were on the floor. There's a term that was used by both commissions, the abbreviation MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. The request is maybe to school the colleagues, what is a memorandum of understanding? Someone might be sitting here and thinking this is not my responsibility. It could be the management's responsibility. It's not my part. The request is to teach the colleagues which office do I go to if I have spoken to the supplier to take my students. How do I go about creating this memorandum of understanding who is responsible? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I think I will then ask Shabane, after the team has responded, to briefly try and respond to you. In my understanding, you are saying what role can one play in terms of the MOUs, if there should be any MOUs that are to be signed in the institution? Is it just the responsibility of senior management, or people are able to source sponsors or whatever that can come in that form that can then assist in the whole process. Mr. Shabani will then come in terms of that. I know I'm not doing well in terms of time, but there was two questions from Ukomete, and I didn't want to stop him in the way that he was posing the questions because I may have been discriminating. I would ask the team to come in because you are asking if they considered these issues like the training of young girls. Having said that, while the team is responding, I must indicate that we are allowed as a commission to provide input or comment without asking it as a form of a question so that we can able to move speedily. Because I think Mr. Komete wanted to sponsor an idea, but he wanted to find out from the commission. The commission, you can then come in, anyone, it could be the chairperson or anyone, in terms of the two issues which are related, the issue of young girls into key programs. Did you consider it? That was the question.
Program Director, I was part of the commission.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think with the indulgence of my fellow members in the commission, I am empowered to respond. Firstly, let me put it this way. Commission number 5, the main theme was to look at labor workforce changes and the TVET's readiness. Now, that meant that we are looking at labor workforce, our employees. So the issue of the young girls are not within the realm of labor or workforce. So now this is not about the students' uptake. Maybe there is a commission that was looking at that. We're looking at whether in the context of the implementation of occupational programs, what is going to happen in relation to the changes in the staffing and so forth and so forth. So we did not consider that because we felt that that was outside our scope. And the second part, because you are talking about the discussing skills, gender issues and so forth, we did look at. That is why when the SPA was presenting, she was speaking about the HRD as well as the training committee. Then one of the things that they are going to do, they are going to do the skills gap analysis. The skills gap analysis has no gender formula. It is about what skills are possessed by the total workforce, more especially the lecturing staff. And now, the skills or the gaps that you need to plug will be informed by the occupations in high demand, those that are going to be linked to the programs that are going to be offered by the college. So every lecturer is going to have an opportunity to be looked at. We are not going to say we want to address gender disparity through this. This is to deal with everyone, every lecturer, every program. So we did not look at it in the context of gender balance and so forth. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mkhize. Just high-level response, Mr. Shabani.
Thanks, Chair. In terms of the memorandum of understanding, understanding, Mr. Spear here has signed, I think, more than 100 memorandum of understanding with with partners. But the key issue is the conversion of those memorandum of understanding into what? Into projects. Very important. You can sign as many as you want, but it's important that you identify projects that are going to speak to those memorandum of understanding. And again, they reside at the office of the principal, because stakeholder engagement with external stakeholders is quite critical, more especially at the strategic level. You cannot just go trade port to your sign an MOU. You cannot. You need to understand, you need to do proper research, their needs, our needs, where are the areas where we can strategically engage. And then once that has been established, then we can be in a position to go down at a campus level to say, okay, give us the input so that we can operationalize the MOU. That's where I think all of us sitting here, they are coming in. There's nothing stopping us from feeding the system up in terms of saying, a Phoenix Industrial Park, we believe that there are 5 key potential strategic partners. And then we have a look at it, we do a research, and then we formulate in MOU that is going to be speaking to that. But to operationalize that, it requires, again, involvement of all of us at a strategic level, managerial level, and at an operational level. So it's important. It is something that we will need to do together with campuses. We cannot sit a central office here in the seaside. It's MOU, MOA, which is the agreement, and then we look at the projects where we talk about service level agreement, depending on how we are crafting that. But that resides at the office of the principal, and then under the stewardship, it's got partnership and linkages. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shabane. Commission number 6, Mr. Shabane. You're still within 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay. Good day, everybody. Change is inevitable. If colleges are not changing, they will remain, I don't know, we will be behind. So it's a good thing that the college has embarked on these occupational qualifications. We are Commission 6. We were tasked with this question: preparedness. Are our students prepared? Resources and infrastructure. And then we had this discussion, which says we needed to discuss the conceptual and methodological approaches to the curriculum reform and responsiveness, including a description of the effects of complicities of any restricted mobility by reflecting on the key features that will be necessary to properly enable and equip the college so that it can enhance and strengthen its role and linkages within the innovative system of partnerships for the delivery and expansion of qualifications, occupational qualifications. This topic is huge, so we had to dissect it into small chunks. Using this template, we had to look at the short-term goals and the long-term goals. Okay, we looked at the need assessment demands. Sorry, the need assessment. Under need assessment, we looked at what are the industry demands. Are we going to offer courses that will meet the industry demands? Then, under resources, we looked at the budget, the industry, and the partnership. These are the people that will be able to assist. Responsible department, we looked at the research unit, curriculum, partnerships, and linkages. Major outputs, we said work integrated learning, student placement, sponsorships in terms of workshops, and machinery. The time frame, because it's a short-term goal, we looked at, it could be less than 1 year. Industry partnerships, we looked at budget and engagement. The department that is going to assist us with that is the finance department under Mr. Shabane and the research unit. Major outputs, lecturer development, which will be done quarterly. Also, we looked at the curriculum partnerships and linkages. In terms of curriculum flexibility, we looked at budget, human resources. The department that is going to assist us with that is curriculum unit, lecturers, and the research unit. Major outputs, our students will be employed, student employability, which will be reviewed yearly. Faculty development, again, it's budget, labor involvement. Department involved, it's HR, curriculum units, finance, and unions. The major outputs there will be trained staff, possibly every 3 years. Infrastructure and equipment, we looked at budget, infrastructure, physical resources. Department involved, finance, infrastructure unit, research unit, industry involvement. Major output there, there'll be more specialized infrastructure. More specialized infrastructure is required to improve teaching and learning. I'm sure you can see in our campuses that we have smart board or smart screens now. So that says we are going in the right direction. And that will be reviewed yearly. Quality assurance mechanism, budget is involved, we need budget. Quality unit, curriculum unit, and finance. Major output, staff needs to be qualified, certified, and registered continuously. Also, the major players here will be the quality assurers. Now let's look at the long-term goals. Entrepreneurship development. Work integrated learning, business hubs, incubation partners. We made an example of Allen Gray. Currently, there is a competition that is going on. The college has sent staff to Joburg for the Allen Gray workshop, I think. Now that they are back, they need to start with this program. This Allen Gray will help our learners in terms of trades, in terms of artisans, if they enter this competition, of course. Okay. Budget as well. So the department that is going to be responsible, it's SSS, partnerships and linkages, and finance. Major output, existing business hub at the college, student placement, staff placement. 1 year. Technological integration, we looked at budget and software. Department involved is finance, lecturers, IT department. Major output, virtual simulation, virtual labs. That's where we are. That's what we do. 30 June 2026. Continuous industry engagement, we looked at budget and existing partnerships. Finance department will be involved, partnerships and linkages. Major output, that will be mutual beneficial partnerships. Time frame, quarterly. International collaboration, intensify existing relations, NAFIC and China. I know we have students that will be going to China, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. The responsible departments will be partnerships and linkages. Major outputs, mutually beneficial partnerships, student placement, staff placement. Policy support, corporate services, DHET policy, college policy, relevant legislation. Department involved, SSS, corporate services, and HR. Major output, advocacy and implementation of policies, quarterly. Reskilling and upskilling staff. Of course, we'll need budget, we will need the human resources, that is the staff. Major departments, that will be HR development, and then major outputs, that will be training and accreditation, and long-term industry experience. Those were the long-term. Now, we also looked at the key risks that are related to this commission. We looked at the need assessment, reluctance of industries. That will be a major risk. The mitigating factors there could be memorandum of understanding, service level of agreement. Also another risk, fear of change. We all know that when there is change, there is always the fear of the unknown. So the mitigating factors there, what's this? Change, that will be change management, I think. Yes, just like why we are here. We are here so that we can be, Okay, infrastructure and equipment, lack of funds. And then the mitigating factors here could be the third stream income, fundraising. Shortages of space for workshops in some campuses and workshop capacity. Mitigating factors, sourcing of new premises, government unused, for example, Putumani, Inchanga, resource not used, procure what is prescribed for each program. Faculty development, staff leaving once qualified as artisan. Yeah, I think that happens a lot in some, I think. So the mitigating factors here could be the binding contract after qualifying as an artisan, because really you can't be trained and then leave the college. Okay. Unwilling staff. The mitigating factors here could be advocacy and change management plan. Market competition. Competition from other TVET providers, private or public. The mitigating factor here could be develop requisite skills to match industry needs. Student behavior at the workplace. We hear that students, they tend to misbehave or absent themselves at work. So the mitigating factor here could be work readiness programs. Students get the training enough to go to the industries and do the in-service training and internships. So I think as a college, we need to start looking at that. By providing work readiness programs, monitoring students regularly at the workplace. The way forward, we said the HR development unit needs to draw a plan to reskill and upskill staff. Considerations to the vacuum that will be created while lecturers are placed at industry. So who will teach the students if all the staff are placed at the industry? We need to look into that as a college. Strategic planning team to factor the adopted plans into the college strategic plan and allocating budget to get the college ready to effectively implement occupational programs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I then ask the next team or the next group, Mr. Mashinini, to come forward? If there are comments or questions, can we now keep them for the end of the presentations? We are going to have all the presentations that are remaining, and then we can deal with the issue of the engagement. Also, I need to ask the remaining teams not to repeat what has already been presented, because it may just be the repetition. Thank you very much.
I'll do so. I will listen. I will listen.
Oh.
Sanbonan. Good day, colleagues. When I come here, there has to be a shift. Did you see the shift? Yeah. So things are changing, and that's why we are here. Right? I'll try to be shorter than I am. Simply because it seems the commissions were engaging on almost similar content. So it will not be a good thing to repeat some of the things. Commission 1 has the following topic titled The Changing Context of Work, that is academic and management, with a specific context to lecturer and staff development for a transforming TVET sector. The Commission would examine sustainability, dedicated and high caliber staff who commit to work smartly. TVET institutions also have to proactively ensure that they attract and retain academics and artisans of high caliber and excellent reputation in the field of teaching, learning and assessment within an occupational field. Then the Commission dissected this topic in the following way. We looked at the current situation. We did an assessment of the current situation. We asked a number of questions: whether we are relevant, whether we are qualified enough to be where we are, whether in terms of our mandate, the legislative mandate, the constitutional mandate, the college policies, are we in the right trajectory? And we responded to that by saying a number of good things have happened since 2005. We cannot shy away from that. But there are also areas of improvement. Colleagues, we cannot say for the past years we've not been doing the right things. We have been doing something. We said we'll conduct a thorough evaluation of the current curriculum, TVET programs, infrastructure, and the workforce. The responsible department, there will be curriculum. The major outputs, they will be reviewed PQM. That is informed by the IDP of each and every campus, depending on where the campus is situated. We're going to conduct skills audits and do staff capacity building. We went to stakeholder collaboration. I think that has been covered. Stakeholder collaboration, that involves all the partners that we have. We say we don't want to have just partners. We want to have strategic partners that will assist in the development of our curricula. Joint development of curriculum by both industry and the academics in the sector. And those academics are sitting here. The other stakeholders that are very critical, if you refer to your white paper on post-school education and training, it talks to a single, coordinated and integrated post-school and education system. That simply means it's your TVET colleges, it's your SITAs, it's your NSF. Those ideally should be working in collaboration with the quality councils. This thing, colleagues, the change is starting now. But these ideas have been there. They've been there, they are not new. Lecturer development, we had a very serious discussion there, and we acknowledge that our lecturers do have qualifications. But with the changes that are taking place now, they'll have to be upskilled on those qualifications. And there was a very interesting submission by one of the colleagues there to say some of the lecturers that we have at the college have been in the industry before. So we might have to think of the RPL program when we begin to train them, to say how best we can integrate what they already know to the new structural changes. We looked at infrastructure that was discussed. The issue of apprenticeship and learnership is just what I've spoken about. The recognition of prior learning of those colleagues that are already qualified. The incentive of employers that was discussed, and it was going to be a submission to this commission to say, hey, if you are placed in the work industry, do we pay you? We find a replacement for you while you are away? Do we pay you an extra money We said, no, we're gonna make that submission to this House to deliberate on that. Fortunately, the principal came and assisted us there. The research and development, a lot has been said. The reason we are sitting here today is because we are informed by the data that is available that our response is not sufficient. Our throughput rates are not sufficient. Our student retention rates are not sufficient. Our students do not get absorbed by the labor market. That is why we are sitting here. So the further engagement of the research unit is going now to tell us, as we embark on this change, which programs we're going to start with, how we're going to structure this implementation of change. Because one thing for sure, not everyone is going to be trained at once. The change is going to be implemented phase by phase. So the research is going to tell us what is urgent and what is not urgent but important. International collaborations that has been alluded to. Then we've got these long-term goals, that is staff development, change management. Change is going to take place forever. There was a statement made yesterday by Mr. Pule when he spoke about the curriculum they developed. By the time they were about to complete the curriculum, they were informed it was already outdated. So that means we must be amenable to change at any given point in time when a need arises, if we are to remain relevant. Partnerships registrar will have to deal with that. The risk, change, fear of change, resistance to change, that has been talked to. What we are saying there, we need to train, provide a comprehensive training for staff, involvement of staff. As we are coming today to share this vision, one of the basic principles of successful organizations is where the vision resonates amongst all people that are involved. As you are beginning to be part of this change and you're buying into the change, you're taking ownership of the change, so the probabilities of this change succeeding are very high. So do not change what we have just started. And more especially, the attitude is very important. Let us have a positive attitude towards this change. Curriculum enhancement, we said the biggest risk there that we identify is the mismatch between skills taught and industry needs. And there was a very interesting discussion as to the power that industry holds in determining or in influencing policy decisions that we take. Because it then takes the position that assumes that we survive only for the industry. That is open for discussion. We've got communities out there that need these skills. If you go to Enanda, along Dube village, there are a number of skilled, unqualified people there that we need to respond to as part of our township economic development strategies. So in our planning, yes, the industry is going to lead us and we are going to follow. But we need not shy away from our realities where we're coming from. The risk on staff development, we raised the issue of funds there, but we know plans will be made that those funds are raised and staff are allowed to pursue their development. International collaboration that has been spoken to, that I think was sweet and short. Thank you.
Thank you. The presentation is welcome, Mr. Mbelu.
Greetings, colleagues. My name is Ketuk Tulambelu, Senior Lecturer from Dodo Campus. I greet you all. I would also try to be short and skip things that have already been covered. I'm here representing Commission 3, where we dealt with the issue of articulation possibilities for TVET students. So on our topic, we're to deal with the understandings and management of articulation in the institution, obtain descriptions of existing articulation and challenges, capture the extent and nature of successes and enablers of articulation experienced, and determine the extent to which tracking of learner movements into, through, and out of institutions that are taking place. We discussed a lot about articulation, the meaning of articulation. We spoke about articulation within the institution and articulation externally when our students are moving from our institution to other stakeholders. That could be other institutions like universities of technologies, universities, learner placements, and the world of works. So we have the following interventions to deal with issues that our students are facing on a daily basis. One of the issues that we spoke about and resolved on was the issue of excursions. When we look at the excursions, because now we're going to move to the skills program and QCTO programs. But we need to start now where we involve students, where we take students out for excursions and work-related programs. So what we resolved on as a commission is that our lecturers should communicate with their senior lecturers if they require excursions for their students. And when that interaction occurs, as a lecturer, you must be able to say, we need this particular excursion and it has a relationship with the syllabus because we have to cover 1, 2, and 3. So don't just say we need an excursion, but the excursion must speak to the syllabus requirements of the subject that you are teaching. So the procurement plans of the campuses must make sure that you plan ahead. For the excursions for 2025, you must have plans for that in 2024. Get input from industries, that one I'll skip because it has been covered a lot. So the programs that you're going to have in future are programs that speaks to the needs of the industry. We're not just going to provide programs and make up numbers so that we get full funding from our funders. No, from now on, we're going to enroll students based on what the industry needs. And it's good for our government and the higher education department that we have taken this route to make sure that the education that we are providing is responsive to the needs of the society. Within this topic, we looked at the description of existing articulation and challenges, where we realized that more work-related training for students is required. There should be a structure that monitors and gives support to exited students. So we spoke about a case where in this institution, maybe we don't have a proper structure that monitors students that are within or students that have existed at the institution. That has a negative impact in terms of the certification rate that we are having as an institution. Because we don't have that structure. You will find that in one campus, there's that particular individual that monitors students and tries to support and maybe not give enough support or the required support. The kind of support that we need is the support where if a student has exited N6 and already started in service training, there should be a system in place that says maybe on semester basis, on every 6 months, or even on quarterly basis, we go and visit those students just to be sure that those students, what they are doing there is in line with the diplomas that they are doing. We find a lot of students, when they apply for their diploma certificates, the applications are declined because what they were doing there is not what is required in their diplomas. And as an institution, we don't have a system in place that monitors that. So we must have that in place, and we need it urgently for the sake of students. Effective, we also spoke about the issue of placement test. When we're speaking about placement test, the placement test, what the commission resolved is that the placement tests that we are having are too generic. They don't speak to the specific programs that we are offering. So we should have the placement test so that we attract the kind of students that we need, that will respond to the needs of the society. We must have placement tests that speaks exactly to the programs that we are offering. Effective teaching and learning. In order to have quality students, we must have quality lecturers. We must have quality senior lecturers. We must have quality HODs. We must have quality campus managers. So without that combination, we will be failing our students. Mr. Hyoko yesterday spoke about lecturers when they are teaching, they always rely on a textbook, of which is a problem. It's an identification of a problem. If you see that happening, and if you are doing it, understand that you need help, you need to be capacitated on the field that you are teaching in, because it's a problem. So in order for us to inspire confidence in our students, we need to be knowledgeable about the subjects that we are lecturing. We need to prepare ourselves when we visit our students so that the students can have confidence in us. Here in this topic, we are also speaking about the issue of a retention rate. We have cases where you find students attending period 1, skip period 2 and 3, and attend period 4. Why? Because they know that in period 2 and 3, you'll be wasting their time. So they'll be attending on lecturers who, when they come to classes, they come prepared, they know what they are doing in classes. So each and every one of us must take a responsibility in ensuring that the students that we are producing are the quality students. There should also be, we resolved that there should be more subject meetings to share good practices. Maths lecturers, we should organize meeting curriculum unit. Please assist us in making sure that we organize meetings for lecturers where they'll discuss and share good practices in relation to how they teach their subject. Effective teaching and learning, I think I've covered that one, but just some of the important things about effective teaching and learning. The issue of assessments, at the college we're facing the issue of substandard quality of assessment that we are having. That issue is not on lecturers. It's the issue that the senior lecturers must take responsibility for, the HODs must take responsibility, and campus managers must take responsibility. If those people who are in the position of management, when they receive assessments and they only become conveyor belts, they just sign and pass on without checking if the assessment that is received is actually the quality assessment that must be having. So in order to solve that issue, everyone must do his part. If a senior lecturer, you're expected to check when you receive the assessment, check if that assessment is within the assessment plan. You must have the assessment plan of each and every subject that is within your department. You must understand the subject guidelines of each and every subject that is within your department. So when you look at the question paper, you must have all those documents in front of you so that you do justice in that question paper. But you are not only doing justice to the question paper, you are doing justice to our kids that we are lecturing. We spoke about the issue of review of PQM. That one has been covered by a lot of speakers before me. Lecturer development. Principal yesterday spoke about whether we're going to adapt to these changes or we're going to perish. I think all of us must choose a path of adapting. So in order for us to adapt, or when we speak of adapting, there should be a lecturer development. We are already here, we already have people here, and if people are willing to learn and adapt to the system, there should be programs that speak to people adapting and getting trainings that is necessary to adapt to the changes that we're going to have. So the college must look into that and make sure that there are programs available funded program so that our lecturers will get necessary development to be quality lecturers which are needed by our students. Enroll students based on specific subjects they have done in schools. Don't take a student who has never done maths in school, enroll the student in engineering. A student who has done maths lit, you enroll the student into engineering. So when we enroll, we need to look at the specific requirements that are there, because these programs, we have guides that tells us what kind of student that must do a particular program. So we must stick to that to make sure that we don't have a problem of AMA dropout. Full understanding internally how to explain the articulation of the programs and objectives of every program. The courses we offer should respond to the needs of the community. We've already spoken about that. Just a few things, we couldn't put it down here because of time. On the issue of dropouts, a number of issues that were raised, but I just want to raise one that we could not find a resolution on because of its complexity. The issue of our students becoming izangoma and its contribution when it comes to e-retention rate. You'll find that a student has that calling and has to drop out. How do we solve that issue? We couldn't find a solution, but it's an issue that is existing and it has an impact on our retention rate. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, colleagues. Like Prof. Hugo kept the last campus to screen on his video to the last, we've kept the best for the last. So, but in his opening, he said that he was not happy with the engagement. Our group could have had another 2 days and we would have still had stuff to talk about. Okay, colleagues, we are at Commission 4 and we were tasked to discuss the transformative pedagogy within the landscape of the changes within TVET. We broke this down into 3 critical areas and we looked at this from the perspective of what is traditional pedagogy, or the traditional styles of teaching. And then we looked at what transformative pedagogy would encompass. We then felt it necessary to depart with our discussion on the point of who is the 21st century learner. We unpacked that to understand that the 21st century learner, as much as he still has lots of socioeconomic challenges facing him, already transformed onto digital platforms. And no matter where the learner lives, he or she still has a phone and they do a lot of whatever they need to do off their device. And as such, their device is their go-to tool. And if you look at that, and if we try to present our material in a format that relates to what they're familiar with, half our battle will be won. We also looked at the 21st century lecturer, and we said that whilst we may be in this digital age, we are all still schooled in the traditional pedagogic environment. No matter what qualification we have, we are based within that mindset. And therefore, we need to become more critical thinkers in the way we adapt to the current environment. and understand what limitations these students are faced with. We discussed the accessibility of the classroom, and we propose that the inclusivity in the classroom is critical. And there's a lot of resources that we already have available. So the resource debate about not enough capital is not totally what we need to have a discussion around. We actually need to look at how we can use what we have and better use it. The issue of how we enable the learner and looking at the social justice of their background and their situation, as well as how using transformative pedagogy must not exclude them, was also a key discussion factor. We looked at the impact on lecturing staff from the perspective of readiness of staff for the system, the adapt or perish principle, and ensuring that we embrace continuous professional development, how we widen our development in our designated field, and integrate the cultural development of the learner in our lecturing. And I think what is critical there in our discussion was that when we do widen our way of teaching, we must be sensitive to the fact that these learners also came from a high school system where all they were taught was through the traditional methods. And yesterday, one of the speakers spoke about the doom of that being the rote learning principle that they are most familiar with, and that we need to now break that. The awareness of the technical college space, where we have to create more advocacy of what it is we do. Many people in the schooling system don't understand the TVET sector, and our role there is to expand the advocacy. And we cannot expect that that responsibility lies only with marketing. Researching learner engagement, staying abreast of developments within our designated field. I think that came out quite strongly because lots of us have qualifications. One of the submissions in our commission was that if we have a PGCE and we sit back feeling comfortable, we should actually not be, because that means we are trained as a teacher. And the critical path that we need to take is to look at what our discipline is and how do we empower ourselves further in our discipline. And like Mr. Mbelu said, if you're not comfortable not looking at the textbook, then you've got to go and retrain yourself, because the discipline that we teach is what is critical. The impact on the learner, if we are able to use the principles of explorative teaching, inclusive teaching, create critical thinking, the learner will then be empowered through this process and their personal development will improve. We spoke about a paradigm shift, how we need to look at the negatives of the transformative pedagogies, and the negatives would be that there's limitation on resources, limitation on the learner's ability to uptake, limitations in our ability to present the learning material, the planning that is required. And we then spoke about how we can improve the current structures that we have. And I'll touch on that a little bit later again. Then also the possibility of us having open lands. We do have these resources. We have computer rooms, we have network, we have spaces that we can create safe learning spaces so that we can move into this paradigm shift of transformative education. The action plan, therefore, looked at how we intensify infrastructure management. A lot of discussion came about that these infrastructure exist, but it's not in the condition that it should be in. And with the amount of money that the college spends, we need to find a way to consistently ensure that these resources are kept in the condition it needs to be kept in. We also spoke about the fact that very often the TVET institution is a center of vocational excellence, but it's just a glorified high school. And if you look at how we have to report all of our systems, we are reporting like a glorified high school. But these policy requirements won't change. So how do we move away from that mentality within the restrictions of our current rules and processes and still create the vocational environment that we require? We spoke about reskilling of lecturers, that's been covered. We put a timeline of at least 50% of the staff who need to go into the occupational program sphere should be trained within the next year if we are to be responsive to the implementations. We also spoke about the fact that the mind shift discussion, the shift in mindset, needs to encompass not just what we've been discussing as being lecturers. It is also a responsibility that management have to reinvent themselves. We too, as management, have to see our role in recapacitating ourselves in the way we manage you, because you are going to have to run your teaching environment differently to the current or to the norm. And we need to be cognizant of this new norm that you need. I spoke earlier about the limitations of expecting marketing only to market the college, and we discussed this at length, that we have to go out and be out there. We are the best advocacy that we can be. If we go out there as proud TVET lecturers, we go to the schools, we speak about our institution, we will certainly get people to feel as interested in us as we would need them to be. And if we are able to do this, we will be able to develop proactive lecturers who are able to reflect on themselves and know who they are in what we need to do. And that person would need to push their limits to go beyond and do more. We also discussed the issue of the entrance requirement, and that has been discussed already as to who we enroll, the rationale behind updating the placement test, and the grade 9 advocacy that needs to be intensified. Guest lecturers to widen content delivery. We spoke about industry leaders, lecturers from other provinces, and past students. And these type of interventions we can proceed with at the moment as we stand, because we have the infrastructure to do this, and all it requires is planning around the timetables. We spoke about the limitations of the curriculum, that it doesn't develop enough of an entrepreneurial mindset, and that needs to be diversified and intensified across all qualifications, so that it capacitates students to create employment in unique ways. So our way forward was to assess what we have and the limitations of what we have, and how we can go beyond this in terms of resources, and that we need to redefine the role of the lecturer. We spoke about this because the lecturer is the go-to person in this change paradigm. And we need to create a platform for these relevantly, suitably qualified lecturers who are involved in curriculum, to be involved in curriculum planning. And what came out quite strongly here was that at the moment, a lot is discussed, but the end user is not involved in these discussions. And some of these are beyond the control of the college. But if we as a college can start to have those engagements to give lecturers the voice at the right forums, then at least the change comes around where the end user can take ownership. It was also a sore point that was raised that often lecturers get invited to go on workshops, but not all lecturers are involved. Those that do go do not come back and feedback with any reports, so that that can be cascaded to other individuals in that area, and that the information from that workshop can assist all staff teaching that subject. And that came out quite strongly, and it was a recommendation that needs to be addressed. There also was a lot of discussion around the lack of involvement of the end user in designing of workshops or simulation spaces, and that lecturers felt that often when things go wrong, then they need to come in and have a look at the design, but at the outset they could have assisted to prevent these challenges. I can see Mr. Shezi is standing up. I'm on my last slide. So the way forward, revisit entrance requirements, look at the alignment of policies, HR development, school visits, and redefining the role of the lecturer. Thank you.
No, thank you very much to all the commissions. In my summary, I wanted to hand over back to the program director at 2:15. Inputs that have come from the various commissions, I was able to summarize into 12 key issues that we need to address. One is the accelerated staff development to respond to the industry demands. Two is the curriculum design, and others spoke about curriculum development. Three, the communication of changes to all the stakeholders. Four, strengthening of the existing industry partnerships and acquiring of the new partnerships, both local and international. The need for the skills audit or the skills gap analysis. The review of the mode of delivery of the teaching and learning, the reviewing of the reward system, especially in relation to the placement of lecturers, the audit of the current infrastructure, resources, and upgrades, if there are any, that needs to take place to align the current situation into what we want to achieve. The review of the PQM informed by the needs of the community, which will be mainly informed by research, the increased placement of both lecturers and learners to industry, the student tracking as well as the monitoring when we are placing these students and lecturers into industry. And finally, it was the issue around the review of the placement test as well as the entry requirements for our learners. Those in the main were the issues that were common across the 6 commissions that presented today. I want to hand over back to Program Director. Thank you very much.
No, thank you, Mr. Shezi. Ngicela nimphinde ngezandla ezinkulu nalo. Also, I want to recognize the great work that has been done by the Commission. Ngicela nishayele izandla. That was great work, colleagues. Without the waste of time, I will, before I request the principal to come, we have the survey that we wish that you complete to evaluate this conference. I will ask Alpesh to come here quickly for 2 minutes so that he assists you. You will have to scan it. He will just beam it up. You will scan it and then go to your phones and quickly complete that survey. I've completed it. It doesn't take more than 2 minutes. Mr. Alpesh. Trying to project it. Okay. While Alpesh is projecting, maybe later before we go, we will do it. I'll wish to ask the college principal to come and close the conference. While she is coming, when she immediately finishes, we have some gifts that we didn't give out for 3 campus managers. Yeah, yes, yeah, if you finish that, I think. Yeah. Over to you, Principal.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am not going to be long, as these are closing remarks. People have spoken. The Elangeni TVET College conference held at Elangeni Hotel in Durban concluded with a focus on the theme of renewal, rethinking, and raising the college's curriculum delivery. The discussion centered around the transition in the TVET sector from NATED programs to occupational programs. Lecturers from Elangeni TVET College actively participated in the conference, sharing insights and strategies for adapting to the changing educational landscape. The conference provided a platform of valuable exchanges and collaborations aimed at enhancing the quality of education at the college. Apart from this, there's something that I may not be able to be at peace if I don't talk about. In January, we have received the results from our employer, Department of Higher Education and Training. And I must congratulate you, Elangeni staff and lecturers in particular, for doing a good job in achieving good results, which made us to be placed number 6 out of 50 TVET colleges. That is very good. And number 1 in our region or province, KZN. Nah. That was not enough. I then requested that we do analysis as usual. TVET submitted the analysis to me, and I was not happy. I then shared my unhappiness with the IMT and agreed that I appoint the academic committee for the purpose of identifying interventions as to how can we maintain and also do better our results. The analysis then spoke to these subjects, and it is called the red subjects: mathematics, electrical systems and construction, data communication and networking, electrical principles and practice, principles of computer, programming, electronic control, electronics, applied accounting, that is NCV. Then on NATED, these are the subjects. And I said the analysis must go to a 3-year period. It means it's not only for 2023. It's 2021, 2022, 2023. We have read on these subjects. NATED business, it's communication, computer practice, computer practice farming, financial management, farming, information processing, labor relations, public administration. And then on engineering, it's building and structural construction, electrotechnics, engineering, science, industrial electronics, mathematics, mechanical, routing, mechanotechnology. Then the academic committee met and decided that there should be and there must be interventions. Interventions in other campuses has already started. There are Saturday classes that are taking place as we speak. But over and above that, they are proposing that we are going to have a camp, a student camp, which is going to take place in June and also in other programs like business studies in September. It will depend into which program it is. That will mean there are no holidays. When we are talking about a student camp, we mean that students has to be somewhere with those lecturers that are going to be selected to go and drill those students, to prepare them so that we will be able to maintain that position 1 and we also move from 6 to 1. And that needs a dedicated lecturer, a lecturer that will go out of this conference with a changed mind. But over and above that, if it means we have to go out and get other lecturers that are going to come and intervene and assist our students, we are prepared to do so. I appeal to you that you take this in an open mind and open hearts. And when we say we are going to go for camps, a camp is where a person is placed in a certain place where there will be no distractions. It means our students, because we understand that they are being distracted by many things where they are staying. Their poor results are not just because of only the lecturers. Even the circumstances that are surrounding them, they are the cause of that. So we want to see if we can move them away for that period of maybe 2 weeks, day and night, studying. What impact will it take into our institution? So when we do that, we are going to pay those lecturers who are going to do that job because they won't go on holidays. They will be working to ensure that the students are achieving what we want them to achieve. So this will be the first intervention that we'll be doing, and we want to see if it is working. The good and the best lecturers, please avail yourself before we even go outside. But what I can assure you is that we are going to do it this year and we will support it as an institution. Then the other thing is we are talking about student absenteeism, student retention. I have started something. I requested that all campus managers must submit every Friday the registers directly to my office because I want to check whether what we see to students is not the same thing that is taking place to our lecturers. I had already started analyzing, and I have found bad news that in a week, there are a number of lecturers that are absenting themselves. Others they report, others they don't. And it cannot be like that. But what I will do is, At the end of this month, I am going to provide you with the graphs or the statistics of each and every campus so that you see yourself. There will be no names there, but it will just show maybe a bar graph. And also, we can also bring the pie graphs that when you see, you are able to analyze, to say, in my campus, if it is Guatabega, ma'am, there is one line that is just shooting up, and who is that person, and why? So that we'll be able to see the contribution that we are doing to this teaching and learning. Also, we have another program which is expanded access. That program, it is on hybrid. It assists our students, and it also assists those who are doing one subject to be able to have a contact lecturer. We appeal to you to come forward and teach those students. And when we do that, we support you with some of the incentives. I understand that there is fear because I once entered into one lesson because it is online, it's hybrid. I saw a lecturer who was teaching very well, and I was very happy that we really have good lecturers in the institution. But my biggest problem is that you are very scared. I do not know what is it that you are scared of. You are not here by mistake. Tatani lento eyenu. Eyenu. Just do it. Do it. Inina. Do it. It's yours. I was very impressed. I have to be able to be in contact with that lecturer and tell her that you did very well. I am not going to be there. I just wanted to see whether our system is working or not. I just want you to be free and not thinking that the principal will be there. No, it doesn't go like that. But if I feel like, I will. I also like to encourage you to take the opportunity. This is your opportunity. These changes that are taking place, it's your opportunity to try and see how best you can benefit out of it. You can be able to benefit, all of you here. You can be able to design a curriculum. Because those people who are publishers, they are not different from you. They have the same mind as yourselves. And therefore, we can partner with these people and bring our lecturers. If I go out today, I want to go and write proposals that I communicate and seek partnership with future managers, with Shooter and Shooter, with Macmillan, with all of them. And I will tell them that I have my lecturers that want to participate, and we need you to come and support, because we must remember they have resources. We don't have resources like they are well established. They can assist us on research, they can assist us in publishing, but we can contribute. I don't know of a book that is just written by someone who is not an expert. But where do they get experts? From us. It's here. We are the ones who must be able to write these programs that are supposed to be written or designed or established. We also have some people who write books here in the college. I know there is Sasti who write books. There should be, and they must be able to write books. Never undermine yourselves. I have a trust in you. Adapt. The college will support you. With those words, thank you very much. The meeting is declared closed with that evaluation that's supposed to happen. Can we stand up? Thina sizishayele izandla sonke. Thank you.
College Principal, I think the venues for lunch, I mentioned them earlier, colleagues. Can you please then go to those and have lunch? Thank you.